Hello and welcome to another 30-minute Thursday. My name is Amit. It is 2 p.m. in the very strange weather condition Pacific Northwest. It is Thursday afternoon and we are live on Facebook yet again, I hope. And I say I hope because, as you guys know, I have got all sorts of issues with technology and all sorts of challenges. And I am once again broadcasting from my home studio here in here at home, as opposed to the beautiful studios at New American Funding. I've got some things going on this afternoon and I just couldn't make it to the studio. So I'm working from home, and hopefully, Facebook and Zoom are also working from home. I'm told that I'm live. I'm told that it's recording. The system is telling me that, which is great. We'll soon find out. And hopefully it'll all work out. But in any event, here we are, Thursday afternoon. I hope you guys are doing great. I hope everybody's staying safe. I hope everybody's staying healthy. I hope everybody's staying sane. You got to stay sane. It's a very insane time. It's a very insane world. And over here off that direction, you can see the sun trying to poke through the blinds over here. We're in a weather pattern that can't decide if it wants to be early spring or late winter. Either way, it's gusty wind, we've got weird sun, then we got clouds, then we get rain that could turn to snow. It's the Pacific Northwest. What can I tell you? It's a beautiful place though. And if you have not been, I highly recommend that you come visit us for a little while, see what it's all about. Maybe you'll fall in love just like I did, and you'll want to buy a house here. And we'd be happy to help you with both the financing of that, and of course, with my many real estate partners, we would love to help you find the actual house and get a contract accepted. But I know that a lot of you guys, whether you live here in the Pacific Northwest or you live somewhere else around the country, y'all are waiting. Y'all are sitting on the fence. A lot of people are kind of biding their time right now, and they're trying to figure out and time this market. And there are a lot of people who are saying, sorry, I get emails popping up here. Let me do this real quick. Let me just shut that down. And maybe that won't pop up again. In any event, a lot of people are saying, hey, look, I don't want to buy wrong. I don't want to jump in here right now, buy a home, and then find out that, the market collapsed like it did in 2008. And I don't want to be one of those people who bought in 2007 and could have bought much cheaper in 2008. I totally get that. I was in the market, I was in the industry, I should say, in 2007 and 2008. I've been doing this since 2001. So I was involved in mortgage financing during the last recession, which was 2001, the last really big recession, not including COVID. COVID's a little bit of an asterisk as far as I'm concerned, just because it's a weird once in a lifetime, once in a century sort of global pandemic that caused all sorts of very unnatural things outside of the other quote unquote normal course of the market cycles and the inflationary and deflationary boom and bust cycles that the US economy seems to have ongoing. So COVID notwithstanding, I've been around since the last Great Recession, which was in 2001. And now we're in yet another one, so about every 20 years. And somewhere in the middle there, we had the great financial correction and the crash of 2008. And a lot of people now who may or may not have been around during 2008, because some of them were very young or are very young now, they may not have been really aware of what was going on in 2008. They think they are informed and they may very well be well read, but they're not completely aware of what's going on or what happened in 2008. And in the years up to 2008, I would say starting in 2005 and 2006, that's when we originated mortgages that went bad in 2008. It didn't happen all in 2008. 2008, and to a great extent, 2009 was when all the chickens came home to roost and when all the checks came due. But those bills were accumulated, and that mess was started in like 2005 and 2006. And I have some slides for you guys to share with you as far as what what that was all about. So as I'm talking, I'm going to pull up this slide deck, and I'm going to show you some things about what happened in 2006 and 2007 and 2008, and why we are not going to experience that this time around. So bear with me as I share my screen. Good grief, it's a miracle. I mean, really, it's a miracle that I can do this. Okay, here we are. Guys, I hope you can see me. I hope you can see my screen here. This is a chart from a service I subscribe to called MBS Highway. This is an professional sort of service for people in the mortgage industry. You don't have to be, but it's a subscription service. So in any event, great content, great information, great market analysis. This is the births for each generation. Okay, so notice the baby boomers here, 76 million people born in the years 1946 to 1965. The millennial generation, I think, is actually larger. When it's all said and done, it will be a larger tabulation. But between 1981 and 1998, 66 million people were born into the millennial generation. And here we are, Gen X, that's where I fall squarely into, and a lot of my friends and loved ones and colleagues and all the rest. Not for nothing. I know everybody's got their ups and their downs and their good and their bad and all the rest of that. But I think Gen X was pretty awesome. It was a great time to grow up, but it was a small generation by comparison. Only 55 million people born in Gen X versus 66 million people born in the millennial generation. That's easy math. 11 million more people in the later generation than in Gen X. But why is this important? Why does this matter? Why does this say or portend as to the fact that we're not going to have another 2008? Well, it's right here. Look at this number right here. In 2006, this stick right here, this one bar where the red arrow is pointing to, that represents how many people were 33 years old in calendar year 2006. And why that matters is because 33 happens to be the national average over a multitude of decades of research. That's the national average at which people buy homes. And what's interesting is that I was 33 years old, spot on, when we bought our first home. So I, again, fall into this whole chart. And when we look at the number of people who were 33 years old in 2006, versus the number of people who were 33 years old today or a couple of years ago, because this chart's a little bit old, but you'll notice that it's a significantly different number. There are far more people at 33 years old today in the present era than there were in the year 2006. And that matters a lot. Because in 2006, as a mortgage originator, as someone who was doing loans for people in 2006, you know what we had to come up with? Now, when I say we, I mean the industry. I'm talking about the big picture. I'm talking about the people that owned companies, the people that owned lending institutions, the guys that were getting paid, guys and gals that were getting paid tens of millions of dollars annually and were running thousands of mortgages, if not tens of thousands of mortgages through their companies. And the regulators that regulate this particular industry, which is very heavily regulated, all of those thinkers came up with a lot of different loan options that people like myself sold in order to create more buyers in this demographic when there were not that many people. You got to understand, we had a bunch of inventory coming online in 2006 and in 2007, like 3 million more housing units available for sale at that time than there were at this time. So we had 3 million or so more housing units for sale. We had a vast shortage of buyers in 2006 and in 2005 and 2007. So what the industry did, with the blessing of the regulators, I keep coming back to this because it's a big deal. What the industry did was came up with really creative financing solutions to get people who otherwise would not be qualified, to get them qualified to buy a home. That's what happened. what were some of these really interesting solutions? Well, one in particular was a company called Countrywide. The brokerage that I was working for in 2005 was acquired by Countrywide, and I became part of the Countrywide team. Countrywide did a loan called Fast and Easy. And Fast and Easy basically said, if you've got a 700 credit score, you can do an 80% loan to value, meaning if you were borrowing, let's just do really simple math here. If you wanted to buy a $500,000 home, you can borrow $400,000 without giving us any statements for your income. No income, no assets, no verification whatsoever other than your credit score and a job. That was at 700. At 720 credit score in 2006 or 2005, you could borrow 100% of the purchase price from Countrywide Home Loans with no income verification and no asset verification. That was what we referred to back then as creative financing. Now, here's the deal, guys. I didn't make it up. I didn't ask for permission to do it. I was just one of the cogs in a very large machine that was blessed by the government regulators to allow and we're allowed to do this. Not millions, but tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of loans went through this system. And that was because, once again, the demographics in 2006, the market required creative financing in order to absorb all of the homes that were available for sale and that just weren't enough buyers out there. And the rest is history. What happened was in 2008, we hit the wall, right? I mean, the check came due, the bill came due, and all of a sudden, all of these people that had come into a home with zero down payment because they had good credit and were not invested and did not have equity in that home, all of a sudden, they started losing their jobs. They started having other economic hardships, and they started getting late on their mortgage. And they went 30 days late, 60 days late, 90 days late. And all of a sudden they said, you know what? I don't have any equity in this property. I didn't come in with a down payment. The value has come back down to where it was when I bought it, meaning that, you know, it may have gone up, but now it's since come back down. I got nothing to lose here. Why? And I have no job. I have no savings. I have no money right now. I don't need to make these mortgage payments. The bank can just take back the home. And that's what happened. And that's what happened in a lot of cases to a lot of people. And I don't feel good about that. It's not something that I take pleasure in even sharing this information with you guys, but that is a historical fact. And no amount of wishing and no amount of whitewashing is going to change that fact. And so a lot of people were given home loans when they were not qualified and should not have gotten them. And in many cases, they did cash out refinancing, which means that they actually took money out of the equity of the homes as things rolled along, as things did improve right up until 2008 and 2009, when we hit the wall, values came down, or at the very least stopped going up. People lost their jobs. They had nothing with which to make the payments. And so they just walked away from the property. They just washed their hands of it. That's what happened in 2008. That's what led up to 2008. Let's fast forward to calendar year 2023. We've got millions of millennial generation folks right here. A lot more buyers in general than there were in 2006 and 2007, just a larger concentration of people who have reached or are reaching the average age at which they start buying homes. And now we've learned the lessons of 2008. The industry that I'm in, we don't do stated income loans anymore. You want a loan? I need bank statements. I need pay stubs. I need tax returns. I need W-2s. I need all sorts of stuff. I can't just give you money because you've got good credit. It helps that you've got good credit. That's definitely a big deal. But I can't just give you money because you asked for it. We need to verify that. Lesson learned by the industry and the regulators. And we have done a terrific job of regulating the industry. It's a bit of a challenge. I would much rather do a loan for you without collecting all that paperwork and just say, hey, you got a 700 and whatever credit score. Here you go. Sign these papers. Let's get you financed. It doesn't work like that anymore. So let me show you what does happen nowadays. Hold on one second. Okay, so here we are. We're in 2023. And there are a lot of people sitting on the sidelines saying, you know what, I'm waiting, I'm biding my time, like Mr. Burns in The Simpsons. I'm waiting for an opportunity when the checks come due and all these people that bought at the quote unquote height of the market in 2020 or 2021, now they're going to have to start selling me their homes dirt cheap because they're in trouble. They're upside down. It's going to be a repeat of 2008. And so a lot of these buyers, potential buyers, are waiting. They're sitting on the sidelines. Let me show you why this is not going to be another 2008. Hold on with me one second. Let me do this again. Check it out. Check out what's going on here. Okay. I'm going to share this. This is a slide from CoreLogic. CoreLogic is an analytical site, a data site. They do a lot of things within the housing market and a lot of other, they do a lot of research and analytics within the housing market. So the light green bars are for December of 2021. The dark green bars are for December of 2022. So it's about 4 months old or 3 months old. Bear with me, I get it. But here's the deal. This is for mortgages nationwide that are seriously overdue or in foreclosure. Okay, so this is basically for all you people who are sitting on the sidelines saying, I'm waiting for the market to collapse. I want you to look at this chart really, really closely, because right now, as of December of 2022, we have 0.3% of the homes in this country are in foreclosure, 0.3%. Now, we did see an increase from December of 2021, which was 0.2%. But in the course of an entire year, we have seen a very negligible increase in the number or percentage of homes that are in foreclosure. Now, if y'all want to buy homes cheap, if y'all want a repeat of 2008 and 2009, where you are bidding on homes that were taken back by the bank, meaning foreclosed by the bank, and you go to the auction where you're at the county courthouse or whatever. I went to these auctions in 08 and 09 and 2010. You need a whole lot more in foreclosure than this to make it even appear on the radar. So let's look back. Let's say before it's in foreclosure, 120 days past due. These are folks that have not made a mortgage payment in 4 months. 4 meses, 4 months, right? I'm still doing Spanish, guys. In 4 months or late for 4 months, the number or percentage of mortgages in this country, 0.9% are 120 days past due. And guess what? In December of 21, it was 1.6%. So this number is actually coming down. Look at 90 days past due, or between 90 and 119 days past due. Very negligible. It's the same amount, 0.3%. Here we are, 0.4%, 60 to 89 days past due. So yes, there is a slight trend from last year, December to from December of 2021, I should say, through December of 2022, there is a slight uptick, but I'm talking about slight. Guys, this is not suggesting that there is a major panic, that there are people that are going to be selling their homes or walking away from their homes and letting them go back into foreclosure. This is not 2008. This is a brand new era. This is a brand new time. And so for you guys that are sitting there on the sideline saying, I'm going to wait, let me tell you what you've missed out on over the last 10 years. Real estate in this country, across the board. Again, I'm local to the Pacific Northwest, Western Washington, Puget Sound region, but I have people that listen from all over the country and all over the world, and a lot of these statistics are national. So take all this with a grain of salt, but at a national level, we have seen residential real estate appreciating every month for the past 121 months. 121 months equals 10 years. So for the last 10 years, so let's go back to 2013. Since 2013 or even 2012, we have seen real estate value appreciate month over month, year over year for 10 years. And if you're sitting on the sideline right now thinking that it's going to suddenly reverse course because we're going to see the 2008 effect and these opportunities are going to come back in to the market, I'm here to tell you that you are not correct. I don't mean to make anybody wrong, but I'm telling you that there's no reason for me personally, or for anybody like me who owns a home, to sell it to you dirt cheap. Why would I do that? I have equity in this home. We're not doing 0 down payment loans in this country anymore. That doesn't, I take that back. We're doing some down payment assistance, but we're documenting that buyer's ability to repay very, very closely. We're not doing stated income loans anymore. We're not doing loans that you basically come in on a handshake and a signature and you've got nothing invested in the property. People are bringing in down payments. That's number one. Number two, the properties have been appreciating in value. Up until recently, they've been appreciating, and now they've come down a little bit in value, but they've come down from the highs, not from where it started, but we got to this point and now it came down just a little bit. It's still significantly higher than it has been and than it was. So someone like myself, someone like my clients, someone like my neighbors, someone like my friends, someone like your friends that's got equity in their home, heaven forbid some calamity happens and they need to sell the property. Why would they sell it to you for less than it's worth? What about you in particular? What about your circumstances suggests that someone like me is going to leave money on the table and walk away from my house, or let the bank take my home back because I'm not going to make the payments? Even if I was delinquent, even if I was 60 days or 90 days delinquent, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh my gosh, I got health problems, heaven forbid, and I've got employment problems, and I've got bills stacking up, and I'm kind of reaching the end of my savings, and I just don't know what to do. You know what I wouldn't do is walk away from my house. I would sell it. I would call one of my real estate partners and say, hey, look, I got a circumstance. I got to sell my property. I need to get as much money out of it as I possibly can, but I'm not going to walk away from it, guys. Why would I? It's a totally different world. It's a totally different market than we had in 2008. And so to sit and think that, like, well, you know, there's going to be unemployment. There may be an uptick in unemployment. There may be an uptick in interest rates. But guess what? A lot of people are in really low interest rates. My note rate on this beautiful home, 2.875%. For heaven's sakes, I could rent it and still make my monthly mortgage payment on that. So the idea of just walking away from this property, like we saw people doing in 08 and in 09, and having courthouse auctions and foreclosure sales and you know, entire communities and neighborhoods that just didn't get completed, and the builder just abandoned them, and you know, that's not going to happen. Something may happen. I'm not saying that we're out of the woods completely at this time. I'm just saying that we're in a completely different forest than we were in 05, 06, and 07, in the years that led up to 08. And certainly in 08 and 09, we're not there. We've got great underwriting. People have fantastic sort of commitment to their homes. They've brought down payment money in. They've got equity. They've seen an appreciation of value. Whenever they bought their home, it's gone up over the years. So if they've been in their home for 5 years or however long it's been, they've seen an appreciation. They're not under any obligation to walk away from that property, even if they're in, you know, financial distress or health problems or any sort of ruin and problems. Like, that's really what people are saying, right? When they say, oh, I'm waiting for the crash, that's what they're saying. They're waiting for people to become really, really hurt in order to buy their homes on the cheap. And in and of itself, I'm not all that fond of even that energy, because I'm a very optimistic, positive person, and I don't want to see anyone get hurt. But I understand that there's cycles. I understand that in every trade, there's someone that does better, someone that does worse, perhaps. But what I am saying is that it's not going to happen in the way people think it's going to happen, because there's a lot of different things now than there were in 08 and 09. So let me show you one more. Let me screen share one more time here with you guys. I'm going to do this for for the local Puget Sound market. This is King County, because I know you guys are saying, well, all real estate is local. This is from a friend of mine, a referral partner who works at Keller Williams in Bellevue. Keller Williams is one of the great real estate brokerages out there. This was 2008 for you guys that want to make this a deal. All right. So this is how many distressed sales happened in 2008 and in 2009 and in 2010. This was the height of that mess. Right. And then things started to calm down. And as of 2012-ish, 2012, 2013, the statistic goes that real estate values have appreciated for the last 120 months. So that means that they started appreciating somewhere between here and here. Okay, so values have been appreciating from all this time. But look, all the way over here. Here we are, 2022, distressed sales, less than 1%. Less than 1%. So I ask you guys once again to think, what is going to happen that's going to get all of these people to just miraculously walk away from their homes in which they've got big down payments, in which they've got great equity growth and returns, and they're just going to either abandon their homes and let the lender take them back, or they're going to sell it to you guys, fire sale it, and just get out from under the liability. You folks who are sitting on the fence right now, waiting for the next opportunity, you're missing the opportunity. The opportunity is right now, because right now we do have a weird sort of glitch in the market. Interest rates are higher than we'd like them to be. Buyers are sitting on the sidelines waiting to figure out what's going to happen. And for those people that are confident in their employment, that have the down payment, that have the need for real estate, right now is that opportunity. And y'all are missing it. You're waiting on something that's not going to come. And in the meantime, you're missing the opportunity that has come, because in 2021, we were seeing escalations, meaning if the seller was asking, I'm just going to throw a number out here, if the seller was asking $500,000, more likely than not, you were going to see that home sold for $600,000, at least where I work in the Seattle area. We were seeing a escalation of 20% above asking. 20% above asking. So if you're thinking that, you know, I don't want to go through that again, well, guess what? Right now, we're not going through that again. Right now, we're not seeing those escalations to the same level and in the same frenzy that we were seeing in 2021. Now is that opportunity. And y'all are sitting on your hands, sitting on the fence thinking, well, gosh, I want to see another 08 and 09. I want to see people ruined so that I can come in and scoop up their real estate on the cheap. The energy behind that notwithstanding, the possibility, probability, likelihood, the mechanics, the math, the where we are in the world, that's not going to happen. It's just not. So I urge you guys, as we're wrapping up this 30 minutes, it's amazing how quick time flies. I urge you guys, if you're sitting on the fence right now, if you're thinking, just can't wait until we get back to 08, you're missing it. Now's the opportunity. It's right in front of, it's the 6 inches in front of our nose. Please call me. Let's talk about what we can do to help mitigate the interest rates that we're dealing with right now. Let's talk about the temporary interest rate buy down. Let's talk about seller credits. Let's talk about other things. If you don't want to call me, that's cool. Call your real estate broker and have them call me, or have them call their preferred lender, whoever that may be. It should be me, but whoever that is, y'all should not miss this opportunity, because eventually, sooner than later, these rates will change. And when they do, we're going to see the same frenzy that we saw in 2021 and 2020. Remember, all those millions, tens of millions of millennials, God love them, they're still in that prime age during which people buy homes. There's millions of them, tens of millions, and they will be buying. So rather than compete with that wave, let's get in early. Let's get into that home. Let's avoid the rush, and then we'll refinance it when the interest rates do come down. I hope that makes sense. I hope you guys saw a little something in these charts. It's always a pleasure for me to share this information with you. Thank you for paying attention. Thank you for participating, for joining me on yet another 30-minute Thursday. I hope to see everybody next week. Maybe I'll be in the studio, maybe I'll be here in the home studio, but whatever it is, and wherever you are, have a fantastic day, have a great weekend, stay safe, stay healthy, stay sane, and I will see you guys next time. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.